Today we'll be working on the trunk as promised. My brother entrusted me to do some modification to the spoiler on the trunk, and I'm hoping I can do a good job. Now I definitely don't want to leave it stock the way we had before. I also had to pull that out. There was a plastic going across here which helps it mount to the trunk itself. Rip that out. Have seen the Corvette spoiler, the aggressive looking spoiler. It has like an extension of the original one. So what I'm going to do is cut out some plexiglass, shape it out into spoiler, and bolt it onto the back, and bolt it, the whole thing, or use double-sided tape to bolt it to the trunk. So let's get to it. So what I'm doing right now, I'm using a straight side of this cut-out plexiglass. Wait, no, this is the straight side. I'm gonna protrude a little bit on both sides of the spoiler, and I'm gonna clamp both sides just like this. So now we got the outline of the bottom backside lip of the spoiler, and now we're going to cut this part out, hopefully as smooth as possible, and move on to the second piece. Rough edge. What we're going to do is take some sandpaper, smooth this down. So all we're doing here is using the first plexiglass to cut out the second with the router. We're gonna get that arch, and then after that we're just gonna take the protective film off and continue from there. Alright, right now we got everything clamped from the back side, and what I'm gonna do is use a marker and just do an outline around the back area of the spoiler. This way I know where to measure from. I'm sure you've seen this design on Camaros and Corvettes. You see what I'm doing here? That's something that I want. Hopefully there's not too much reflection. So we're gonna push that back. So let's do that right now. Mind you, this is not the way you should be building a spoiler. I'm just going by what I want to do. You don't have to follow my design, but you can use a similar concept. So a piece of wood, make sure that it's about an inch from the edge. Let's go inch and a half, inch and a quarter. Okay, now that you drilled through, place it up against the spoiler. Take a sharpener and just lightly push up against the spoiler while you're riding the edges. Do the same thing here. You don't have to go all the way around because the edges will be cut off where the spoiler ends. This is the distance of the bottom of this type. There's so much reflection you can't see, but this line I want it to be this high up, and then we're going to extend the flares on each end. So let's do that right now. Okay, now we found the edges right here and right here. This is going to be for the top part. So what we're going to do here is do the same thing as the first time. I'm going to drill a hole. This one was 1.25 inches. The other one we're going to do, I guess, 3 inches. We can always cut down to size if it's too much. But I do want it to be fairly aggressive because we have a wide stance. You know, it's just, fuck it, 3. perpendicular to the spoiler. Make sure the piece of wood, since this is arched, you want it perpendicular to the spoiler at all times. Now what I'm doing here, from the middle, I measured a whole foot in the gap. Well, I guess the best way is to do another center line. We're gonna, so this is starting point and ending point of the gap. We're gonna go from 1, measure this properly, 1 to, say 8. Check these lines right here. And that's where we're gonna be. Okay. Alright, so let me just go cut this out real quick and we'll test fit it, see how it looks. Guys, basically, this is what we got. Now, I'm just going to give it a coat of black primer. And we're going to test fit everything. Just stay tuned. I don't want to show you right away. Let me see. I think it came out really, really good. Look at this. Huh? Just fit it with the blue tape right now. I'm gonna heat this up to take better shape around the spoiler. But yo, look at this. Look at this. You would think we're about to hit 200 miles per hour. We need all that downforce on the rear wheel. Oh my God. I actually like it. I like it a lot. This is the next day, Wednesday. So tomorrow we'll be taking this to the shop. Now, what I want to do right now is just smooth out the edges. I don't know if you can see this. These are very rough. Just slightly so the plastic can just bend with the curve. And what we're gonna do is I'm thinking just drill through first. Screws I'll be using, center holes, and I'm gonna go to the edges as much as I can. Since we have 10 of these screws, then we'll find the middle between the center and the edge. And first, definitely want to use thread lock. While you're driving, it may come loose. Upgrade to a bigger bit. Now the chamfering bit. Now we take the bolts, machine screws, drop them in there. Then we got everything ready. It's gapless. All the screws are in. Let's round these edges up. I'm going to use a belt sander, which I don't recommend if you got a heavy hand. Round up these edges, smooth everything out as much as I can, and then we're going to use, hand sand. And everywhere that I can't reach, I'm going to use just sandpaper. Since there's no adhesive, this area is going to be open to rain and water. So what I'm thinking is maybe I'll get a weatherproof strip. Let's see, I definitely need to hold down the middle, the edges. So maybe 4 screws, I think. And now we're going to find a center point from one side to the other, right there. Now that we got these 2 lines, now we know exactly where the center is. I'm going to use this ruler, a line of where the center is. And just to make sure that we are precise, we'll run across. Yep, the line is perfect. Now I can't use the center hole due to the second layer of metal. That's for stability and strength of the trunk panel. A notch right here. Pull that back. Let's try to fit this bad boy now. So I'm going to use these spacers and these are nylon nuts. They are going to help me Alright, so I expanded the hole a little bit to fit a bigger screw, and I think this is called a wing nut. I'm going to place this one inside. It's much wider, and besides I need the middle to be held down properly while I'm placing the other 2 holes, or boring holes into the middle. I'm just going to tighten this real quick and we move on to the sides. Alright, at this point, since we have the middle tightened up, hey babe. Alright, so we got the middle tightened down. It's crucial that you line up the sides properly, equal distance forward and back, and side to side. You're going to bore the existing holes from the bottom of the trunk into the spoiler, and then we chamfer the holes from the other side. They look like they're equal distance from the edges. We're going to expand those. I'll get the screws in there, tighten it down. So we're just going to wipe it down lightly and spray it down with black primer and paint. Now I'm not going to paint the whole trunk. I'll let this dry and I'll show you how it looks right after. So I had a feeling the video was going to get a little too long, so I'll make this in 2 parts. This will be the part 1 of how I did the spoiler, and this is really for anybody that's hands-on and wants to do something themselves, didn't have the courage to do so. Mind you, at this point anything goes, so I don't really care about damaging anything. We'll just have to replace it if it goes wrong. Ended up coming out alright. So on the part 2, which is going to be tomorrow, we're going to place it on the Pontiac. We're going to take some shots, maybe a drive while it's still light outside. We usually tend to work into the night, so you don't really get clear shots of how everything looks. The video and pictures don't do it any justice, believe me. I also want to say thank you to all the subscribers for your support. And if you have not subscribed, please do so. It does help a lot, motivates me to continue with this project. I also want to thank 407 for rent. It gave me a heads up on the calipers being installed upside down. Shit happens. I've never really installed the big brake kit before. Didn't really pay attention to it. We just really wanted to get it done and get some videos out there. And I want to thank you for pointing that out. Once again, thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for the part 2, which will be coming either Friday or Saturday, hopefully. I'll see you guys in part 2.